Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koobalings! Happy 2025. Welcome to the first episode of the year for the Nintendo Shack podcast, episode 354. We have so much Switch 2 news. Finally, after years and years and years, we're starting the year off with a bang. There were a lot of things posted. Not official, but Nintendo Switch 2 leaks that we will get into. Before we dive into that, Delvin, Donnie, missed you both. Happy 2025. How you doing?
Good. Seems like a lot of people missed us. A lot of messages in this chat. People going crazy.
It does feel like it's been a long time. I don't know. It feels like my break wasn't that long from work, but I feel like being away from Shack has been long, even though it's the same amount of time.
Well, it's a part of your routine, your
Yes.
positive routine, not your
That's
negative.
true.
You don't look at it with such negative connotations every day, or maybe you do.
It's
I
my
gotta podcast
weekly
with this fucker
therapy.
again.
I had so many things to say in my weekly Shack therapy that I couldn't say. I was holding it all in until now.
Yeah.
But now we're here.
I've always missed doing the podcast when we don't do it. I like that we take the break. I think it's good for all of us. But I definitely miss it.
How was your break though, Donnie? What did you do? What were the highlights? Tell us everything.
Yeah, I mean, great. Indio Techno says, what did you do over the last month with all the Switch 2 leaks and no podcast?
Bursting.
I was fine.
I'm sorry?
I was fine.
You were fine? You were good?
Yeah, I was good.
That was cool.
Yeah. I did something that people would surprise people. I played video games.
Same.
What?
Yeah, same.
On this video game podcast, you're going to talk about video games?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Well, either one of you, start. Tell me something.
Donnie, because he's handsome. Somebody called him a Georgia peach.
Aww.
And I'm here for it. Johnny, the Georgia peach.
Oh, listen, I played a ton of games, an absolute metric ton. Mostly
give us the highlights, the best ones.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to, because I don't know. Like we have so many questions for the show.
I know.
Yes, we do.
It's gonna be a long show, so I don't really want to. I kind of skip and I'll get you next week or something.
No. We want to hear. Just give us the highlights and then
All right. So the crazy thing is that I spent a lot of my break from work. I had about 6 days, cleaning and reorganizing, garage and the basement, and my gaming catalog and everything. And I have built a Switch shelf. I've essentially pulled all of my Switch stuff out of all of the cubbies and bins and shelves and drawers that it was in, and I put a whole shelf together. And the thing that I realized then is I had so many games that I've kind of forgot that I had, that were in cases, sitting in the shelf and stuff. And I've been playing Dragon Quest Builders for the last 2 weeks.
Oh.
Almost exclusively, kind of lost in it, just doing that. So I'm having a lot of fun playing a game that I bought 7 years ago.
I think I even remember us talking about you getting that game.
It's really good.
Yes.
It's really good. It's kind of it's Minecraft but Dragon Quest, which kind of makes it almost like a Minecraft Zelda type of thing. It has a story, so you play solo campaign where you build and do little tasks for the villagers, and you're building up this village. You're going across all these realms. You gotta fight off horde attacks and stuff. So it's very, it's Minecraft inspired for sure. It's kind of like the Minecraft game that I want, as an old gamer that doesn't want to build Minecraft cities. Can you just do this, but make it a single player story game? And Dragon
this
Quest was
fat.
like, yeah, Dragon Quest is like, we got you. So I'm
People
doing
have
that.
suggested that game to me before.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. I also played a not so insignificant part of Go Vacation.
You know what? The first year or two that the Switch was out, I had my eye on that game waiting for a sale, and it never went on sale, so I never ended up getting it. Is it fun? It's like it feels like it should be like a Wii Sports Resort type of game.
It's like Wii Sports Resort again. If it was like single player and you could play like without motion, like you just played on controls, it is that. Yeah. Like you go around, you do all these activities, like you jet ski or you ski or you ride like a little 4-wheeler, you jump out of airplanes, you do like a little pilot wings thing, and there's like little people around that you can like talk to, and they'll give you like little mini side quests and stuff, and you can like get new shirts and stuff. It's not amazing, but it's also like if you're just wanting like, I mean, I think the word that we use today is like cozy, but if you're just wanting like a chill experience,
Mm-hmm.
not wanting to be stressed or figure out anything to do, but be engaged and somewhat fun, it's a great little game to get lost to.
Did you already have it, or did you buy it?
I already had it. Yeah, no, I've had it. I got it some time ago, and like,
I wonder if
never
it's
really-
finally cheap.
I never really played it, like because I made fun of it when it came out, and I got it, I think, on a sale, and I never really played it. I think I put it in to like get my gold points, and then it just sat on the shelf. Because I've been cataloging things. I catalog my movie collection. I catalog my Switch collection.
Oh, it's a Wii port.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I have over 100 Switch games, like physically, like in the cartridge.
Wow.
So just like going through all this stuff that I have, like that's the thing. I was like, I realized, like, I had all these games, but they're kind of everywhere. You know, like I had some in the cubby, I had some over here, I had some in the drawer. Jack had some. I was like, let's get a handle on where all this stuff is. Got my Labo out, got Starlink out. You know, I played a lot of Wii U. I was doing a Wind Waker. I was doing a little Yoshi. Look, the thing I want to talk about, I'm not going to because it's going to be a bit. But I am sucked in an N64 vortex that I can't get out of. Like a crack addiction, Delvin. I am selling stuff to fund my habit.
Oh my god!
I have gotten rid of consoles. And
it's all before the HD console is coming. It's not even here until March.
I'm trying my best to not like play everything I have.
You get burned out.
But I made a discovery this past week of a game that I didn't know existed, and I'll just leave it here, and I'll leave like we'll leave a little cliffhanger here for next week.
Okay.
And the game is such my kind of shit. I was like, how was this exclusive like to a territory? And then 2, how have I never heard about it? Then I go to look it up. I was like, I probably want like a copy of this game. You know, like I can play it on my EverDrive, no problem. And you know, I'm not like I want
There's
every
some things
game
you want on the
collector.
cart.
But yeah, I was like good shelf stuff.
Yeah.
That idea has led me to buying 30 or 40 of those. I don't know how many I've heard. It's so many.
Oh my god! I got
Like,
Josh a
so
few
many.
N64 carts for Christmas.
So I think I'm making. I mean, I think I am. I'm.
Wait, what's the game? What is the game that?
We'll save it. We'll save it for next week.
I typed in eBay.com to type in whatever you were about to say.
I'm nesting.
Okay.
I'm what it is I'm putting together like a 64 display where my analog box will go, where I'll put all my games.
You gotta
and
talk
like
to Josh.
I've got this
That's his-
anthology book that I'm reading that everybody says is amazing. I'm like 3 pages in. I just got started, but so far, you know, so great. Like I'm telling you it's bad. Like a habit. Like I'm staying up late. You know, like I'm watching YouTube videos. Like I've got the fever.
That's your current hyperfixation.
It is. I'm deep in it. So that's what I'm doing. And like I said, it's gonna be a whole bit. So give me like 10 minutes like next week.
Okay, that's
You got
fair. Delvin,
it.
give us your highlights.
Man, I've just been living life.
Give me all of it. He never
It-
plays
it-
games. Give me all of it.
I've been playing games that aren't on like Switch consoles.
Damn it, Delvin.
That's the thing.
It's the whole point of the show.
See, the problem is, ever since we did our Christmas special, and Donnie yelled at me for 3 hours. I had a revelation.
You
Maybe
deserved
I should
it.
actually play video games.
Play some video games.
Yeah,
It's a
Come on,
concept.
W. You can't miss the marketing beat, dude. Get the plug in.
yeah. So I played some video games. I finished Outlaws, which I loved. I ended up loving that game a lot. I finished that one completely, so I'm done with that one. I got into Indiana Jones. I like it. It's a weird game. It's really weird, but you know what? It fits
Really?
It's weird.
Weird. That's not a word I would imagine to be
People were
used.
It's
kind
great.
of hot and cold
It
on
is-
it from what I saw.
It is very Indiana Jones in the best way because you are Indiana Jones. But like I said, a first-person shooter where you're not shooting and your combat is just basically like
It's a first person
people-
whip.
you whip people, you punch them in the face, and you occasionally shoot. It's very interesting the way you do the game. It works. It works because it's Indiana Jones and it makes sense. But I'm like, it's more of a stealth action game, which makes sense for Indiana Jones than a action game. So people go in there thinking they're gonna get like Wolfenstein or something like that, or
Uncharted.
even this Uncharted. It is not that at all. It is essentially you are Indiana Jones. You're sneaking around places. You're figuring out puzzles and stuff like that. It's much like an Indiana Jones movie. You have your slow parts of it, then you have your action parts of it, and your action parts of it are very Indiana Jones. Like, hey, I'm punching guys in the face, I'm shooting them with my whip, and occasionally I'll pull out my gun and shoot them in the face. It's very interesting. I like it though. I like it a lot.
I'm gonna
It
need you to
is-
bring all this to PSVG next week because
Yes,
folks want to hear us talk about it, and
I'll
I'm-
talk about it more in detail there.
I'm not planning to play it at all. Like I totally.
I don't think
can,
you
but
like it.
I don't like
100% don't think
Indiana
you'll like it.
Jones at all.
Yes,
Me neither.
I never have. I don't know what it is about me or like what time I missed, but I've heard about this series my whole life. You got to watch the movie. It's amazing. You got to. And every time I've ever tried to watch a movie, I'm like, dude, this is boring. Like I'm not into this. It does nothing for me. I'm so indifferent.
I appreciate that. If you're an Indiana Jones fan, this is Indiana Jones as fuck. Like it is really Indiana Jones.
I want to say that I
big
missed it.
fans would like it.
Yes.
I want to say I missed it, but like I don't think that's true because like Indiana Jones has fans across all ages, right? Like even kids
Yes,
today love
very
Indiana
much so.
Jones. So
It's
I don't
like
know what
Star
it is
Wars.
about me. I don't know what it is, but like I hear the song and stuff, and I am so unmoved. I'm just not into it. I don't know why. But it's just strange. Like I'm not sure if you saw how much you were in Discord, Delvin, but the entire break, D-Life and Nate, like they are coercing. They're like, Donnie, please. I'm like, I hate the character. Like,
Yeah.
in what world are you like? Would you think I would like? I'd play the game and be like, oh, now I like it.
It's like trying to get me to talk about Avatar.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
no, I won't do
guys,
that.
like, I'm gonna let you have this one.
It
Like,
feels
why-
like a worse Uncharted.
like, why do you want?
I don't want to say that
Delvin
because-
said she's not wrong.
yeah, they're very different games. They're completely different games. I think when people heard Indiana Jones was going to be a game in Xbox exclusive, they thought Uncharted. This is not Uncharted.
Well, that was the funny thing because that's what they were like. They were like, Donnie, but you love Uncharted. You should play this. I'm like, but it's not Uncharted.
Not even close.
Like they think because you go on treasure hunting in a jungle, it's like, oh, you'll like it. It's like that's not why. That's
It's the
not
only
why I
thing
like
that they have in
Uncharted.
common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
This is-
I could care less about that in Uncharted.
This is much more puzzle based and figuring out things like that as opposed to Uncharted. Like, hey, we have a puzzle here. Then you're going to get in the shootout for 30 minutes and kill like 500,000 people. That's very, very different games.
Hmm.
Very different games.
Well, I'm glad you're liking it. It's a lot of
Yeah.
people's like game of the year.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far as of yet, but I like it a lot.
Do you like it more than Outlaws?
That's a good question.
To be
So
determined.
far, no.
Okay.
Because Outlaws is a lot more of a fun, enjoyable game to play, just fun. Like if I want to sit back and play something for 30 minutes and not think about something, I'm playing Outlaws.
Okay.
If I want to get a good story and get into it, I'm playing Indiana Jones.
Do you think any part of it, not to turn this into just play some video games, do you think there's any part of it that like people are happy that like Xbox has a good game?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
a good major franchise. I think people don't look at Hellblade like that.
Yeah.
Hellblade's
Right.
fantastic.
Well,
But
Hellblade is
here-
also 5 hours, right? It's not a
Yes.
like a big game, like quote unquote.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is a very good game. And the
Okay.
third game I've been playing is the game that Donnie hates.
Uh-oh.
But I'm trying to get into it because I said, you know what? When this game originally came out, I said I was going to play it and I was going to enjoy it. And goddamn it, I'm going to finish this fucking game if my life depends on it. Alan Wake 2.
Oh.
Hmm.
It's okay. Look, I don't mind it. It's fine. I just like Rob 3000 took it a bit far. Okay, like
You know what?
it's very pointed with him. It's like, you know what? It's not as good as you keep wanting it to be.
I lean with you on that. I stopped playing before because I got to this part that I did not like. So something was like, just power your way through it. Look up the strategy guide on how to finish this part up. And I looked at the strategy guide to finish it up, and that shit was obtuse as fuck as well. Like, what the fuck is this?
I feel like it's pretty bad when you're at the point where it's like, let me just look up a guide to finish it. Like, I don't even bother if that's the case. I just don't
Yeah,
bother.
I looked
Just
it
like
up and
move
like,
on.
Like this isn't telling me anything.
Yeet.
so I eventually figured it out, and I got back to where I wanted to be at, and I'm enjoying the story as it is. You know what? I will tell you this, Jordan. Playing through that section I did not like, I fell asleep twice.
Alan, sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like I remember this was like maybe like the first like real disagreement I think me and Jeff ever had. I could tell like we were on a podcast together like before it started and we were talking and I started like hating on Alan Wake and I could feel like a shift in our friendship. Like he was not having it. It's I don't know, man. Like there Remedy people go so fucking hard for Remedy games, you know. I think Alan Wake 2 is like a little up its own ass, personally.
You know what? I was going to say this. It's a little bit pretentious.
It is. Yeah, it is a
reminds
little bit.
me of Quantic Dream in the sense where it takes itself a little too seriously.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, bro. Relax. You're big.
And I think it's really like clear how like you could come out. Like I feel like people have they just have different tastes, right? Like the Control people don't seem to like Alan Wake 2 as much.
Correct.
Right. You know, but you know, it is what it is. I'm happy that people
Also-
have it. It's definitely not bad. Like the tech and stuff is great. There's the horror aspects of the game that I really like, but it's just like you have to wade through so much, like go to this clipboard and dot all these things together. And it's like, this isn't fun. Like, why did you do this?
I have gotten to the point when it comes to the mind board, I just do a bunch of shit. And then I'm like, all right, let me just hit here.
Yeah, you just keep
If-
pressing buttons until because it'll
That
nav-
would be
it'll-
me.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
be me.
Yeah. Like, I
There's
don't
so
wanna- I
many
don't feel
things,
like
Rebecca,
doing
where
this.
like you have to
I
play
don't.
it. So there's like these. Have you played it at all?
No.
All right, so there's like these sequences that you have to like kind of put in order. So like you play them to essentially to like, all right, let me try to explain this. You play a bit of the game to kind of unlock like that concept or that story. And then you have to like put them in order, almost like in I want
You're
to
a
say like a,
detective.
yeah, you're like, no, that's not what happened. This happened. But instead of you just like it's doing that with a decision, like you actually play out that bit of the so it feels like you're
Oh.
repeating playing the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I was like, and here's the thing. I know there's Alan Wake fans listening to this, probably like fucking screaming at their radio.
Yeah.
Like, that's not it. You didn't describe it right or whatever. But like to me, that's essentially how I would take
You-
it. And I think there's some people
It
that
feels
are like, this is the
unnecessary.
coolest thing ever. And then
Yeah.
there's me, and I'm like, this is a giant waste of time. Like, why
Yeah.
are we doing it like this?
Rebecca, have you ever watched shows like Criminal Minds, the Law and Order SVU?
Yeah.
You ever seen like the little criminal boards where they have all the
Yeah,
profiler
yeah.
boards? You're doing that in the game.
There's a significant amount of this game where you're doing
Got
that.
it. Yeah.
Like in
Yeah, I
between
hate those kind
every
of things.
level.
Hate those kind of things.
Yeah. So I was pretty out from the start, but it looks
is-
great.
Anytime,
one
because like some
thing-
games have like little bits of that as like one point in the game, and I
Yeah,
hate
no.
those parts. So if the whole game is like that,
There's like subfolders.
Yes,
no,
because
too
you're
much.
solving multiple
I don't want to
cases.
think that hard.
You have multiple cases. You have multiple boards at once.
No.
Yes. And you're putting the
out.
strings together. Then when you get it, you start explaining, or Alan starts explaining, and it's two boards. That's the crazy thing about it. It's one for Alan
You
It
can
is
flip
one for
between
Saga.
characters.
And you
Right.
got to do
Oh my-
gameplay within it so that when you take a break and come back to it 2 days later, you forget everything that you did.
Correct.
It's just convoluted. Like
Very
it-
convoluted.
yeah, it's complex and convoluted. And like the Remedy people are like, this is amazing game design that you're not smart enough to get. They might be right. But I'm like, but I want to have fun playing a video game. Like
I'm sorry,
this isn't
Alan
it.
Wake fans.
I'm
I,
not.
I honestly
Okay,
think
so far we've shit on Alan Wake, Indiana Jones.
With airing of grievances.
Anything
But
else,
it-
Delvin?
you know, I just was enjoying life. My brother came over. I got a pinball machine. He was playing the pinball machine. I got a digital
What kind of pinball?
machine. I think it's called.
Is it like
It's digital. It's like a stand-up digital pinball. I think it's
The flat screen.
yes.
Yeah, I showed you that like years ago. You finally got one.
Yeah.
Can you like
It was on-
rotate boards and all that?
Yeah, there's multiple boards on it. Apparently, you can hack it to put other games like Terminator and stuff like that.
How does it? It's got like haptics, right? Like,
Yes,
that's how you get the feels. It's got haptics. How does that? Does it feel like you're actually playing pinball?
yeah. To me, it does. It's really
Wow.
cool. My
That's
brother,
cool.
my brother loved it. My brother came over and he saw it. He's like, "Oh, this looks cool." And then he started playing. Like, "Oh shit, I didn't expect it to look this good as a digital pinball machine."
we're all coming over and playing it, Delvin?
I'm down. Knock yourself
I
out.
remember the first time I saw one of those, it kind of blew my mind. And they're like, it's got haptics and like the buttons, and like you can feel the ball like rolling around on the screen. I was like,
It's like the Joy-Con. You can feel the marble.
yeah, you can. And I was like, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, there's no way this is as good as it like wants you to think it is. But then I was
The one-
also like, but if it is, what like an amazing space saver. Could you imagine you buy one digital pinball and they just put like
And
every
it's
pinball?
everything.
Yeah, and you can just flip through whatever one you want and just like I was like, that's incredible.
That is cool.
mine's is it has all the old games like I think it's called GoTab games. Like it has like Haunted House and shit like that from like the 70s and 80s. And when you turn it on, it plays the what's the pinball song called?
I don't
That
know.
but
There's
it's
a
very
pinball
old.
song.
Oh yeah, it's a Pinball Wizard by the Who.
Oh, okay. Let
It
me go
plays
look at
that
it.
song loud as fuck.
I was gonna ask, like, I wonder if it's one of those things that's like, oh, you know it. You don't know it, but you know it.
Yeah.
Like
You
you've heard
probably
it.
know it if you hear it. Elton John has remade the song before, like a lot of people have remade, but I think it's originally from the Who.
Okay.
It's a good song.
That's very
Also, we
That's
shot
very
illegal
cool.
fireworks. That's all. My brother
Nice.
bought some illegal fireworks, a bunch of illegal fireworks.
I hate fireworks.
dude. My
We was in-
neighbor's house burned down because of fireworks.
God,
This year?
what, recently?
Yeah, like that happened like on Christmas Day.
Shit.
No, it was New Year. I'm sorry, it was New Year's. It's literally. I'm sorry. Did you guys? I talked about PSVG, but I realized not everybody listens.
I literally hate fireworks.
There's my neighbors across the street. New Year's Eve, I had to work. I won't make a long story about it, but I had to work New Year's Eve, so I didn't get home till like 2 a.m. So I get home, I take my shoes off, I get in the bed, and like right when I'm trying to go to bed, so it's like 2:30, almost 3. I see like a faint glimmer of like a light kind of flickering in the window, and I get up and look out, and literally the house across the street is in a gigantic ball of flames. Like the whole
Wow.
street is lit up, like the sun is out. Like it is not like there's a fire in the house. Like the whole house is like a gigantic bonfire. They made
Everyone
it
was
out.
okay. Okay.
They made it out. They
That's
got out of the
good.
house. But that house is toast. Like it is burnt to the ground.
Was it their own fireworks or was it somebody
Yeah.
else's fireworks?
Yeah, you could hear the fireworks going off. Like because I was outside before any of the police or fire came, so it was
my
I was up
God.
pretty early. You could hear the fireworks going off. And it was, I guess, they were in the garage and they caught on
Oh,
fire.
Ah.
yeah,
Let me
I
ask
hate
you a
it.
question. Do you stay like in a cul-de-sac area?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
That's where my brother stays at too. And everybody was shooting their illegal fireworks off there, and I'm like, oh.
There's
yeah,
actually-
might not-
So I'm on a street. I'm at the end of the street, and there's actually 2 cul-de-sacs. There's one down and there's a turnoff. And I'm like on the house, like on the corner of the turnoff. Like I'm on the main street, not in the cul-de-sac. But this house was like the top house on the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I would ask them: was the fireworks worth it? You know, was it worth all that?
you wanna
Yeah,
ask
I
that
offered to let
when that
them come
fire
in,
burned
but
down?
like their family came and stuff, and so they had places to go. But man, it's
You know, if it's not your house, it's your hand. Like, it's not worth it.
I don't think I want to ask them after their house burnt down, Rebecca. That might be me.
I'm not actually asking them that, Delvin. I am asking you, are your illegal fireworks worth burning your
Whole house, everything
down?
is on fire. Rebecca
Or
yells
losing
from the
your
porch.
house?
Was it worth it?
It's a rhetorical question, you idiots. Oh my God.
The kids, they're crying. I lost my PlayStation. We are back, baby.
You see Rebecca sitting there just shaking her head in disapproval. That's what happens.
Should have had a Switch. Could have took it with you. Can't carry that heavy ass PlayStation.
Wow.
We are back,
I
baby.
played a video game this break.
Nice. Tell us about it.
Well, I will only talk, because just for time, I will talk about the game that I beat. Because I actually I played and beat a game. I played and beat It Takes Two.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is, I know, for me, a platformer. Like, so my
You played
friend,
with Josh.
I didn't play it with Josh. I played
Okay.
it with a friend who asked, to play it. They were looking for somebody to play it with. And I'm like, fine, whatever, I'll play it. Because I'm not a platformer fan. Like, I didn't even really care to play it that much, but I liked it. It was
It's a great
fun.
game.
So I didn't really know much going into it besides, the fact that it's co-op, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, the only thing that I heard about this game is oh, this is a great game to play with your non-gaming significant other.
It's not.
It's not. That shit is hard. There were hard levels, which we were able to do because we're gamers. But if I was not somebody who have played video games before, I would have been crying. It was, and right off the bat too, the first couple bosses are not friendly for non-gamers. So I don't know who gave that advice. Maybe I'm just bad at platformers. That's my bad genre, but I don't think it's very friendly for non-gamers. But it was very fun, very beautiful game, very inspired levels. I really liked the clock level. Have you all both played it?
No, I have no friends.
I played it with Melissa, taking that advice that it's something to play with your significant other. We got through,
Did
I
she
think,
cry?
the first couple bosses. And
Yeah.
eventually I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this for you through the whole game. You have to, because we get to a point where I would run and jump, and then she would hand me the controller, and then I would run and jump for her. But then you get to the point where you both have to.
You have to do stuff in
and I'm like,
synchronicity.
I've explained to her, we take it for granted how easy a lot of this comes to us.
Just to naturally know how to grapple across a ledge,
Because you have all of this conditioning, and it reminds me of you think of the 64 again. That's where my brain immediately goes. Remember how controllers only had one stick for a while, and we all came through that, and then we got two sticks. So we have all this knowledge. You give somebody a controller that's never held one, and navigating on two planes, two sticks is fucking it'll break their brain. They're like, what? How does this work? And I've always thought of that because it's I always wonder, I'm why did Nintendo 64 not just have two sticks? And it's that's why. Probably they probably messing with it
it was way too complicated.
You can't do that.
Yeah. Gotta ease your way into it.
This is one of those games where
it doesn't ease you.
The basic stuff she can't do, and then you start getting into the harder stuff. So we didn't get that far into it, but I've seen people play it, and the bit I've played, I'm it's kind of amazing. But
I would say this was deserving,
niche,
very deserving of that Game of the Year award that it got a couple years ago. I didn't like the ending. I felt like the ending was very that was it. There wasn't really a big, it was just the last level, and then that was the end of the game. But I liked the little cutscenes in between of the girl, trying to come to terms with her parents fighting and trying to get them back together, and I really liked it. I'm glad that I played it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's all I'll talk about for gaming. I have been so busy over break because we are in the process of moving schools. I think I told you last time how we were closing down the old elementary school. We had one day to finish up before we could never go back in. And this past week, the second and third, Thursday and Friday, we had 2 days to step foot in the building for the first time and unpack everything and set up classrooms and have it ready for an open house on Friday at 4:00. And it was very, very, it was a lot. I'll just say that. My mom came to help. Josh came to help. So I was feeling very pessimistic about my space at first because they gave me every wall has an accent color. Like every classroom wall has an accent color, every office wall. And my accent color is bright red, which red is my favorite color. But like when you're thinking like an elementary counseling office, like you want it to be something like soft and soothing, not like a bright red angry, like, oh my God, I'm coming into the room angry. Now I'm going to be even more angry. But I'll post pictures on the Discord later. I feel like I was able to start transforming it into a very cozy, welcoming space despite the bright red wall. Yeah.
Can you paint
the wall? No, they even have rules for us that we're not allowed to hang anything on the drywall because they don't want us to mess up the brand new fancy paint and walls.
Did you organize
at an elementary school?
Did you organize the office in a way where the kids wouldn't stare at the red wall? They'd sit like maybe against it and stare at you on a different look? Yeah,
that's a good point. I have a couple different seating options, and I have a window for the first time. Last school, I didn't have a window, so it brings in some natural light. I have really good lighting. I'll show that in the pictures too. Like I put those fairy lights with the leaves like around the ceiling. I didn't attach it to the wall. I attached it to the ceiling. And it looks very cozy and nice. So we start tomorrow. We're supposed to get several inches of snow. So we're going to have our first day with kids at the new building for the very first time with snow. And it's going to be hectic and chaotic and fun. Maybe.
I was told to ask you what Josh just played for the first time.
He started Mass Effect 2.
Oh, how does he like it?
He liked it. He played a lot for the first time. I think he played the first couple of missions. I've played it, so I'm sitting there watching him and like kind of remembering it. And I know he would like it because he likes other similar types of games like that. He picked Male Shep, which I was unhappy about.
That's what I usually play as.
Wrong choice. But yeah.
And I'm also black.
Yeah, he's playing some cool stuff too that I've been watching. I feel like I'm probably not going to play a lot of games this week because it's going to be such a stressful week at work. So I'll be able to talk about other stuff next week. I'll tell you about how the first week at the new school went. It's a huge school, Donnie. It feels like a middle school. It holds 950 kids for elementary school. That's a lot. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah. It's huge. So, for the sake of time, why don't we jump into the news because we have a lot of stuff to talk about with Switch 2. A lot of leaks happened while we were away.
Yeah. So we have numerous Switch 2 leaks. It started with cases. Satisfy Dbrand, a case company called Global Sources, which does cases in China. They all started releasing pictures, mock-ups, and marketing materials, pre-orders for Switch cases, steering wheels, Joy-Con grips. And we soon found out exactly kind of where this was all coming from. And it was new news because it was Western, but it's old news. So there's a 3D scan of a Switch going around that is either has been leaked or like, we don't exactly know, but I think the going trend is that a company paid for a 3D scan of the Switch to like make accessories for it.
Right.
And then started selling that to other people. So we saw this. I'm not sure if you remember, Rebecca, I want to say like 6 months ago, there was a Chinese streamer who had a Switch. They're like, this is the Switch. It's this big. These are the Joy-Con.
Yes.
And I was posting about it. So that model is now made it over. So like you started seeing Nintendo, YouTubers have them. There's companies actually reaching out to the YouTubers like, do you want one of these? We'll send you one. You can make a video with it. Dbrand and everybody is like, yeah, this is our case. We got this model for this case and now we're selling this case. Like we're not waiting for Nintendo. Like they're actually taking orders for this stuff now. Alibaba is Chinese like goods service. You can buy grips, cases, stuff like buy in bulk for like
Oh my
resellers. So
God.
like it's happening. Like the wheels are turning. Lots of rumors came out. And one specific rumor that I wanted to highlight was by this Reddit user who joined either the Switch 2 or the Gaming Leaks Reddits. I follow both. I don't remember exactly which one it is. I think Gaming Leaks.
Oh my God,
but-
wait, I followed this. This was crazy.
Yeah, so this is a user by the name Next Handheld joins Reddit and goes, I have pictures of the Switch and I'm going to release them on Christmas. And then like for like
And
a
he
week,
didn't he like showed it to the mods, and the mods were like, yes, this is legit.
he showed it to The Verge first. The Verge is like, we've
Okay.
contacted them. They've showed us what they got and we think it's true. Like we think, and now everybody, because at first, and like as the internet does, random user says, I have pictures of the Switch. Everybody's like, yeah, sure, buddy. Yeah, like, okay, uncle works at Nintendo. And then The Verge is like, we think it's real. And now everybody's like, holy shit. And he kind of does like this, I don't know, scheduled drop for like a week and a half where like he keeps showing like little pictures of everything. And then on Christmas, he did release photos. They seem to be heavily doctored. Like there's AI backgrounds, things have been flipped, things have been slightly altered, as most people just assume, to protect one's identity. But he had she, I don't know, he or she, they had the dock, they had like the whole like backplate part of the thing. But most notably, I think our first best look at this C button. There was a lot of drama going down as to whether it was real, whether it's not real. They had some other things. So like they said that the dock was rated for 60 watts of power. And I mean, that's significantly like more. They also said that there's the white SKU, right? So like Switch OLED, like white Joy-Con, but also said that there's an all gray SKU and then a SKU that comes in colors. And it doesn't know what it is, but it's around for a game. Confirmed the LCD screen. There's
I'm
a
mad
lot
about
of
that.
things that kind of came out of all this. I'm kind of like paraphrasing because one, we have a lot to get through, and two, it's actually somewhat old news at this point, this particular part, but it kind of just goes in the long line of leaks that we've had. So like last week, Nintendo patented essentially DLSS. They had an upscaling patent that was public, and they talk about how you can upscale an image from 540p to 1080p, from 1080p to 4K, which is what we've been talking about with the Switch 2 this whole time, is it would have some sort of DLSS capabilities. An important part of that patent, though, was they specifically put out the use case on how you could use this upscaling technology to significantly lessen the size of your video game. It wasn't like to achieve 4K picture, and it was like how you can take a 70 gigabyte game and make it 25 gigabytes if
To
you
optimize it.
cut all of this stuff down and use this technology to upscale. And that has a lot of like ramifications. Like, are they not going to increase the storage size on the cartridge? Like, because we've been at 32 gigs, I think, the whole time. Which I actually won't even check that. I think it was 16. And then they were like, we have a 32 gig, but like a lot of people don't use it. So obviously with a new Switch and bigger games, we need bigger media. And I'd be very interested in finding out more about that. There was even leaks this morning. I'm not sure if you guys saw, I posted in the Discord. There's Joy-Con leaks, like real pictures of the Joy-Cons. There's some new things that we've discovered about those. So they have this clip-in mechanic, which we know, but on the side of the Joy-Con, there's an optical sensor, like a mouse.
Like this.
Yeah. There's also like glide pads, like at the top and the bottom of the rails. So there's people speculating.
They said something like a laser, like it looked like a
Exactly.
like a laser type of thing.
So there's a lot of people speculating, like, could you use a Joy-Con like a mouse? That's an interesting thought. There's other people that are wanting to know, like, maybe it has for tracking, maybe it has enhanced motion controls or something, maybe it's tracking something, maybe there's an accessory that you can clip it into and then use it in a way that would either, do something like that for motion controls or gyro controls, or like a mouse. I thought I haven't really dove into the conversation today, but the mouse thing is interesting because like at first you see it and you're like, that's ridiculous. Why would anybody do that? And then like I immediately also thought of like, but Mario Maker could have been awesome. like I don't like,
Yeah.
like if you could give me a mouse, like that'd be way better. So I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe that's a gimmick. Maybe that's one of these weird things. Like it's legit an optical sensor, like 100%. It's there's something to it. So and there are also like, I don't want to get people too excited. It could just be to register the Joy-Con somehow, like when it's clipped in or not. Like maybe they're using that to read something. That's very possible.
To know that it's attached.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if they have different, let's say they have different things you can attach it to. Because like with its clip-in mechanic, like maybe they have like peripherals that you can clip it into, and now it's this thing. You clip it into it, now it's this thing.
Right.
So like maybe the optical sensor could read what it's clipped into.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot. There's like it's almost more
Like a
mysterious
wheel
than
for
anything else.
Mario Kart or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love the idea of some sort of mouse like thing, because I think Delvin Jr.'s console has that, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, the Legion thing, right?
That has that.
The Joy-Con can come off and be used as a mouse by like pointing at the desk.
Yeah, it's a little thing. It comes with a little attachment too that you can hook it up to and make it move around.
Maybe Nintendo copied their homework.
That's a good idea.
You know, like I you know, it doesnn't sound like something Nintendo would do, but oftentimes that's the things Nintendo does.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
The Switch itself doesn't look remarkably different from our current Switch, which I think, is kind of what we wanted, right? We wanted to just be like a better Switch.
yes, I mean that's all I want. I want a better Switch. It makes it, I don't know. I don't want to say harder, because I think the thing is going to sell, especially initially anyway. Like there's just demand for it, so it's going to sell well. But I do think it makes it a bigger challenge to sell. You know, if it's just a Switch, like you have to get a lot of people, you have to tell people why they need the new Switch versus keep the old Switch. You know, we've been there before with DS and 3DS and stuff. So yeah, it's more of the same. I've seen a lot of people that are like, oh, that's it. You know, there's a lot of that sort of reaction to it as well. But it's easy to have that reaction when you haven't seen the games that you're playing.
Mhm.
Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
The games are what gets you in the door.
Also, that's kind of what consoles are now anyway. Like, it's not like,
It's true.
like the PlayStation Pro is just the PS5.
But you want to
Same
take
shit.
do you want them to take like a giant swing and do something radically different? They did it with the Wii U, and you know, like we saw
No
what
one bought it.
happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So like why would you disrupt the apple cart? We've talked about that this whole time with the Switch Pro and the Switch 2. It's like it's also it's kind of it's a different Nintendo. This isn't Iwata's Nintendo. He's been gone for some time. Like I've always gotten the impression with our new president Furukawa and stuff that it's like a let's not disrupt the apple cart Nintendo. Like let's kind of keep things moving Nintendo.
I saw so many people on like TikTok who got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
why don't you keep up with this? And they don't, like casual people, like the Switch probably sold a lot for Christmas this year.
Yeah. That's the thing with all these leaks and stuff. People are like, Nintendo doesn't have to do a damn thing. They don't care.
No, they don't.
Because the majority of people have no idea any of this stuff is happening. This is like it's on Twitter. It's like, yeah, that's the very small, like giant group of gamers, but like in a totality of the world and of 150 million people, fraction of those people, you know.
Yeah.
So
Jess, I don't use Pornhub. That's rookie shit.
Wait, it got banned?
Yes.
it's being banned like across the South.
Yeah. Well, porn sites are being banned.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
essentially,
not
what
being
they want you-
banned.
They want you to give your license to register for these
It's
sites.
age verification. They're putting out age verification laws, and then these sites, as like fighting back against it, they're just pulling the site. They're like, fine, we're just not going to have the site available in that for that state.
Yeah.
So they're kind of having like a war.
VPNs are free.
I'm aware.
I think that's Delvin said.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. I don't use Pornhub. Come on.
Yeah, I saw a couple people say, I don't really need more Switch leaks. I want to hear about games, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, of course I want like an announcement, but I want to hear about the games. Are we getting Mario Kart this year? Are we getting a 3D Mario at launch? Are we getting, upscales of Breath of the Wild? I just need to know. I want to know it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me ask the question. Seeing all these leaks and stuff did make me wonder, Would it have been better just for Nintendo to like just show this stuff in December?
I mean, I think what better I think is the pointed part of that question. Like, what is? I don't think Nintendo needs to move off their marketing plan because somebody leaked a
I
picture
agree.
of a Joy-Con. You know, like I don't think better or worse is the right. I don't think is it advantageous. Like I've said it before. I thought that we would get the announcement last fall because there were reports they were going to manufacturing. I said once they go to manufacturing, it's going to leak. So you're going to get out ahead of it, and they just didn't. So I just take it as like
that's
they
that's what I was saying.
they don't
It made
care.
more sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
there's
just
Stephen
don't
A.
care.
Smith. We don't care. Like they're gonna
Yeah.
do what they're.
I mean,
gonna
they
do.
have to know that this is going to happen because
Yeah,
with
of course.
manufacturing, it's not like games, like hardware. It's very hard for this to not happen. Like
Oh,
this
they're not
happens with
gonna. They can't
every-
police China.
No.
Yeah,
You know, they're not there. They can't police China. It's not going to stop anybody from taking a photo of the thing and putting it on 4chan or whatever. You know,
It could, Josh the Hyrule Laureate. Yes, it could.
there was a very interesting leak this week where the entire fucking motherboard leaked. Did you guys see that?
that's
Yes.
crazy.
The
I did not
whole
see that.
motherboard of and it's legit. Like, I mean, without 100% acknowledgement, it appears to be super legit. It's got the damn NVIDIA chip. It's got the Switch cartridge slot. It's got the RAM, like all of the specs, all of the stuff that it's all there. It's all soldered together. It's like if anybody cut a damn chipboard and soldered all that stuff on there, like that's a crazy leak. That's a crazy thing for some virtual cloud. Like, so it's legit. It's probably legit. So like we legit know everything about this. Like we know the part numbers, we know the motherboard, we know the look, the screen, the Joy-Cons. Like we know so much about it. I wonder, I guess maybe to your point, Delvin, I wonder if they have an announcement, are we like, oh, like I wonder if that could be somewhat lackluster because we know so much about it now. But again, I don't think
so.
I think it's more about the games than the device. I don't think people care. Like we already know what it is. It's a Switch. Like it's not like a new technology. We don't have to understand it. We know what it is. So it being a Switch or having any of this stuff like doesn't really matter because we already understand the concept.
Plus seeing it like presented and in use with games, like I feel like that's something that we aren't going to get through leaks that will be, that'll be an interesting for an announcement.
100%.
Yeah, once they put their razzle dazzle on it and make it all look all pretty and amazing.
Yeah, because like it's like like the new consoles, we run into this, but like the PlayStation 5, it doesn't have to sell you what a PlayStation is. Right? You already know what a PlayStation is. So it has to sell you with what? The experiences that you get on it. Like that's how they sell it to you. That's where the Switch is, because it's not a 3DS, it's not a Wii U. They don't have to teach us dual screens. Like it's not a separate thing. They don't have to teach us a Wiimote. Like it's just this is the crazy thing, is we don't have a lot of these in Nintendo's history, but they're not selling us like a new platform. It's a continuation, it's a sequel, it's an iteration on what we already have. We don't do this often with Nintendo consoles. So
yeah, it's kind of like the DS, the 3DS almost.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of
exactly.
the same. They just added a little more bells and whistles to it.
Mm-hmm.
And even with that, they had like this whole 3D thing that they had to like show you to make you believe it and everything.
Stuff that you might get the information from a leak, but like you don't really understand it until they show it off. Like the whatever this little laser sensor is, we can only speculate until they reveal it.
And I think it makes a lot of sense that by all accounts, we expect that this thing was supposed to be unveiled and announced last year. And there's been a lot of rumors and suggestions to think that Nintendo perhaps delayed that to make their software lineup more ready. And that makes sense if it's literally just another Switch. If it's literally just another Switch, then the software becomes way more important to sell.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that your games are ready, for launch day, and not just launch day, but like launch year. Like you want to make sure you have a steady flow of content coming so you can sell this new hardware. Otherwise people would be like, I'll just keep the one I have. And that's a challenge. Like I know we all want a new Switch, but that is a challenge. Like PlayStation is having that challenge right now, selling PlayStation 5s to people that have PlayStation 4s. That will be a challenge for Nintendo. You will be asking people to upgrade. And why do I upgrade to this versus a Steam Deck or anything else that comes out? They have a challenge here. So I think maybe that's the most important point, is their software lineup. Okay. So the Nintendo Switch passed the PlayStation 2 in total sales in America, U.S. territory.
Yay.
It's a pretty big milestone.
So what? The only thing above it now is DS.
I think so in America, and then it's still behind PS2 in total sales globally.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Skyward Sword was added to the Nintendo Music. That might be the best thing about Skyward Sword. The music's incredible. No shade. Like
It is,
the
it is
music's
good
way
music.
music is way better than the game, just like on its own. It's great. The Game Awards brought us a new Pac-Man game based on the Secret Level TV show, which I pre-ordered. Have you seen that?
I did.
Rebecca, have you seen Secret Level? It's dark. Like this Pac-Man's like eating people and like going through people's bodies. It's like, what the fuck?
Great.
So I bought this weird Pac-Man game that I expect to be like super hard, some roguelike super hard ass game, but I'm gonna try it. There's a new Ninja Gaiden game. There's a Okami. It's getting a sequel. A new Sonic
Okami's
Racing.
been on sale for like $2. People are saying it's the biggest steal.
There is. There's been, I don't know if it's still going, but there's been a sale in the Nintendo shop for the past week. It's one of the best sales I've seen like in years on any store. I've been shouting from the rooftops on Blue Sky. I'm like, I'm not seeing anybody talk about this, but there's like 100 games on Switch right now for like $2.99. Like y'all need to get in here and get these games.
Mm-hmm.
I understand navigating the eShop and everything's a mess. I use Deku deals, but like there's a ton of, I got 10 games. There's a bunch of good stuff.
Fire sale.
I got a Serious Sam collection, I think, for like $5. The whole it's like 4 Serious Sam games. They all, all remastered and everything. Looks great. So yeah, that's we had some new games, even though Nintendo wasn't really there at the Game Awards. Did they win games? Did they win any awards? I don't. Speaking of that Okami sequel, it was announced that Kamiya is doing Okami, of course. He just recently left Platinum to form his own studio, which is called Clovers, which is a nod back to the first studio, Clover Studio, where Kamiya and Shinji Mikami and all these guys got their start when they were making like Beautiful Joe and like Mad World and stuff back then. Are you guys familiar with like Platinum? I feel like I'm talking to...
I don't really follow Platinum that closely.
Okay.
Yeah,
so Capcom back in the 90s, they had a subsidiary studio called Clover. And that's where all these Platinum folks got their start at Clover Studio. And they were like, it was kind of like Tango, like we just saw with Tango Gamer. There was a studio that made these like beloved fan favorite games that just didn't sell very well. So this Capcom closed the studio down. And that they all banded together and they started Platinum Games, and they've done that for 20 years. And it's interesting that he just left Platinum to start an indie studio that he's calling Clovers, and his first apparent work is he's making a Okami sequel for Capcom. So it's like Capcom doesn't own it, but it's just odd that it's like he left to start a thing to go back to start the thing that he left from. It's like, what the fuck? But I think importantly for Nintendo fans, allegedly he's raiding Platinum, and like half the studio has left with him. And that throws a lot of things up in the mix for Nintendo, as Nintendo owns Platinum IP Astral Chain, and it seemingly, I don't think I've ever seen that this is like acknowledged like formally, but it appears that they own Bayonetta in some way. They either bought it or bought a stake in it or something, because they've published the last 3 Bayonettas exclusively. And when Platinum released the Bayonetta Vanquish double pack on other consoles, there were articles that came out at the time. I remember, I didn't write it down, but I do remember they said that they had to seek Nintendo's approval to do that. So like seemingly, I think Nintendo owns Bayonetta. So the health of Platinum, if you care about those franchises, has an impact on Nintendo. It'll be something I'll be paying attention to as we move forward. A lot of Switch 2 talk about Platinum games, an Astral Chain 2, a Bayonetta collection. I don't know if I would think that now. Like, I don't know where they are with their game pipeline and stuff, if they have a lot of people leaving. Does Nintendo look to buy Platinum maybe? I think it's important because I've been following this. I like a lot of Platinum games, so I follow this probably more
Mhm.
closely than most. I think it's important to point out that just because Camilla left, he didn't like run the whole studio. He wasn't the president. He was the face. He was the face of that for a long time. But just because he or anybody else leaves doesn't mean that Platinum can't make a Bayonetta game or an Astral Chain game. Like there's more than just him. It's more than just the person. I think a lot as gamers, we attribute a lot to the face of an organization. We forget about the 70, 150, 250 other people that are
Yeah,
there
he's
making
not
the
the
game.
only one making the games.
And in most cases, he's probably not even making the game. He's probably just
Right.
saying, this is what
He's
I want you to
overseeing
make.
it. Yeah.
Correct. So like it doesn't have to be a negative, although I will tell you, if you're out there looking up, a lot of people are saying it's a negative. Like there's a lot of negative news about this right now.
Huh.
So
Okay.
I don't know. I have some fear that like we wake up one day and it's like this is the end of Platinum. That would be very sad.
Yeah.
Because I really like their stuff. I do know
Mhm.
that studio tried to get bought on several occasions, that they spoke to acquisitions, and it seemed like they're not making enough money for people to want to buy them. And that's worrying, as they make a very specific kind of game that it doesn't seem like other studios or publishers are interested in making. And I value those sorts of things being around.
I agree.
They don't always hit. Like I didn't like the Wonderful 101, but I love Astral Chain and I love Bayonetta. They do a lot of stuff.
Right.
They did Star Fox Zero. I'm not sure people remember that. They did that. So Tetris NES and DX hit Nintendo Switch Online. Plucky Squire added a new streamline mode to the game that apparently lessens the hand holding and kind of speeds up the dialogue and kind of gets you going faster.
That's one that I didn't finish. I
want to go back to it. And then speaking of studio acquisitions, this is actually somewhat major news. It came out during our break. The Nintendo now owns 100% of Monolith Soft. So whoever still had, they bought them out. That's 100% a first party studio now.
Wow.
Cool. It should be.
Yeah, it makes sense. They've leaned on them a lot for Xeno and Zelda support and stuff, so it makes sense. January Switch games. So leading into this month, we have Freedom Wars Remastered coming out in just a few days, right? Yeah, 5 days. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD comes out next week. I will be there. I am buying that game. I do want to say a few things about the game. Have you guys been following this game at all?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I have not, but I'm excited to try it again.
I love this game. I understand the weariness of like again because it's been ported. I understand
again. And where's our new Donkey Kong?
The YouTubers specifically, I'm just Game Explain. They've kind of started this trend where they're like super analyzing every trailer that Nintendo released of this game, talking about how much of like a downgrade of a port it is because like Donkey Kong's fur isn't as good or like a background light has been changed or some bullshit. Like it kind of bothers me. Not because like I don't think it's not that I think the analysis is bad, because I think it's good. And I do think there's like some reason for it being there, but it kind of like, I don't know, like sours the well before people even play it. And I think we have like this interesting take, the older of us, like our 30 and 40-year-olds, is we're like, I already played this game on Wii and 3DS. Yeah, there's fucking millions of people that didn't.
I've never.
You got to remember that like there's people that the Switch is their first console or their second like they've never played this.
Especially with the Switch being like we're going on its 8th year here, and some people were like children when it came out, and now they're adults.
And maybe they want to replay it. Maybe this is like their Wind Waker remastered for them. Like maybe they had it on a Wii when they were a kid, but they didn't have a 3DS, and now they have a Switch. Like there's a lot of
or this
reasons.
is their childhood nostalgia for them.
Also, I'm sure Nintendo's probably porting this out to a second, a support studio or something. It may not be their best effort, but like I don't know. Like the point I want to make is that like, okay, like maybe a lighting is a little different. Maybe the fur has been changed, but like, is Donkey Kong Country Returns still good? Because it was like one of the best platformers of its day. So like, I don't know. Maybe let's talk about how great the game is, and less on just like, well, this rock formation of the background's been changed. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, right.
It's like you're really missing the forest for the trees here.
Yeah.
And it's not just them. I think they're leading that charge, but I see it like percolating out across like Nintendo channels. Like they started it, and now other people are like, Donkey Kong sucks. What a crappy port wants $60, and it's like, you guys are missing the point that Donkey Kong Country Returns was the renaissance of Donkey Kong. Like, one, we didn't have it forever until that game came, and then like two, was an excellent video game. It's not where this should be $20 at most. Like this crazy nonsense that I see.
I
That
mean,
stuff bothers me.
it shouldn't be $60.
But every Nintendo like they're all $50 and $60. You know, like that's just
That
what
doesn't. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be.
Okay,
The price
Right.
should be whatever they get for it. They can get 60 for it.
they're gonna get
Go
60
for
for
it.
me because it's a great game.
Okay.
It's a hell of a lot better than
So
Detective
just-
Pikachu.
They're just adding that 4K.
It
pack,
is.
baby.
It's way better than Princess Peach. It's a new game. Like Donkey Kong Country is a better game than that. It's a better game. So like how do we value games? By how many ports it's had? Like Rock Formation, like this game is really good.
Rock formations.
Like this game is really good. Like I feel like we should value the game on how good it is. This is one of the best. Like, nah, can't do that. Blade Chimera comes out the same day. Because it's coming out the same day as Donkey Kong, I won't be getting it day one, but I will be getting it at some point. I want to play that game. Dread Out, the remastered collection. Delvin, do you know what that is?
Yes, I do.
I thought
It's
you
a
might.
horror series that's kind of like
Fatal
survival
Frame?
horror series. I'm trying to think. It's not like it's interesting. It's very popular, like not in the United States, but it was pretty. I played a little bit of it. It's pretty fun. I liked it.
Let's see. Tales of Grace F remastered comes out the 17th. Guilty Gear Strive on the 23rd, alongside Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. That's a hell of a title. And Sword of the Necromancer Resurrection. Get all of those out on the same day. Cuisineer. I hate
Quiznos.
saying that. Huh?
I miss Quiznos.
Quiznos.
Quiznos. Oh, Quiznos is great. I worked at a Quiznos.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Summer job. Tales of Iron 2, which is a big one for a lot of folks. And then on the 30th, Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Woo!
Go.
I love
Game of
that.
the year, baby.
I want to buy it. Crazy. I've the
I'm
South
serious.
Park
I want to
references.
buy it too.
Yeah. Well, do you know the South Park reference?
You told us.
Okay. It's like, yeah, that's the funny part. I want to buy it for that.
Yeah.
Rebecca's like,
I'm
I
in my
wanna-
bedroom playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure. That's
I
so
don't
fucking
want.
funny.
I don't want to get it on Apple Arcade because I don't want to pay for Apple Arcade.
Makes sense.
Cybercore comes out that same day. That's a game that I've seen getting a little traction, a little buzz on like Gamatsu and stuff. So don't be surprised if you hear that come up later when around launch. And then we close out the month with Citizen Sleeper 2. So lots of different sorts of games to choose from. A lot of games if you're especially into Japanese games or RPGs. So that's your January ahead. Anybody gonna buy any of these things?
Hello
besides me?
Kitty.
Hello Kitty. Are you really gonna day one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'd love to hear about it.
You will on the show.
Some headlines. Star Fox Zero was ported to PC.
What?
Yep.
I did not see that.
Wind Waker rumors got new life. I forgot about that. Did you guys see any of that?
I try not to.
Okay, so let me give you. Here's the elevator pitch. Some fans, of course, because we're all crazy apparently, noticed that Wind Waker was recently translated to a new language that it was never made. I forget which one. I want to say Korea or something. I don't remember, but that was never there with the Wii U port ever. The whole time.
What do you mean? And where did they say it?
It was like the game was translated like for language support for new regions.
Where do they see this? Like, what do you mean?
I think it's on one of the store pages or a rating or something. I don't remember. I didn't write it all down. I just vaguely remember that it was about the language support. It's been translated for new language support in new regions, like regions that Nintendo started doing for the Switch that they never did during the Wii U.
Should I get my clown makeup back out?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's
Okay.
probably there. And then in Japan, Animal Crossing New Horizons has become the best-selling physical game ever of all time.
I'm craving a new one, Donnie. I'm craving a new Animal Crossing. I'm back into Pocket Camp. I bought the Pocket Camp Complete. You know how they took Pocket Camp offline,
Sure.
and now you
Did
can just buy it outright for $10, and it's all free now.
Let me ask you: Did you ever play it before they took it offline?
Yes.
Okay.
I played it in its first year or so before New Horizons came out, because the only reason why I got into it was in hopes that I would be able to transfer all my stuff to the Switch game. The moment they said, no, you will not be able to transfer items to the Switch game, I said, I'm out. And I deleted it and never looked back. And now I bought the $10 Pocket Camp Complete. And there is so much content in it for $10. I cannot believe how many items there are in this game. I feel like we got ripped off on the Switch. And if the next Animal Crossing game doesn't have this kind of content, the thousands of items that exist in Pocket Camp, I'm going to be a little miffed. I'm just saying.
Miffed.
I'm English
Miffed.
now.
Miffed. Don't get her miffed, y'all.
Yeah.
British.
There you go now.
Delvin Imran Khan says that Punch-Out series is dead.
God damn it.
Imran he's a cool guy.
He said, spoke on background. He said they got a former developer drunk at a bar, and they
job.
essentially said that this was some time ago, so it could be changed, right? But he said that he was told that Punch-Out is dead because the stereotype characters got a lot of heat and pushback on release, and Nintendo doesn't want that anymore. So they're like, we're not going to do this anymore.
Can't they make a new one without stereotypical characters?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be as fun though.
Also,
I like
also-
that about it.
Mario is a fat Italian plumber.
Right.
Yeah, why I don't know why
What's going on here?
why are we shying away from stereotypes?
Nintendo doesn't want the heat. I could see that from them. They're like, this is more worth. It'd be one thing if it sold, 10 million copies. It doesn't.
It's
sell
more
it well.
silly, not offensive. I don't feel like any of it was offensive. It's
I'm
just
with
silly.
you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy that anybody played Punch-Out was like, I'm angry and upset. But
Yeah, it's not like they had a black guy eating fried chicken throwing punches or something like that.
but you look at the
Yeah.
world we're in. It's like, could you see it? Like, yeah, I could see that.
There was a very stereotypical Jamaican guy, a very stereotypical Canadian guy, a very stereotypical.
I forget. Somebody on Blue Sky was like,
no,
we know
not
what we
all
have to do
Canadians
now.
are like that. Not all Jamaicans are like that. It's just silly.
somebody on Blue Sky was like, Nintendo, you know what you have to do now? Get Luigi in here to get these hands. You have Little Mac, fucking just beat the shit out of actual Nintendo characters. You have to climb the rank. He's like, fucking Little Mac beats the hell out of Donkey Kong.
Give Luigi a gun.
Right. Make them do nonsense and silly things. That'd be hilarious.
I've
No.
always been curious why no one just made Mike Tyson's Punch-Out again. Don't have to make
License,
the exact name, but hey, just license Mike Tyson. Hey, we're gonna make a game that's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out with you, and not call it Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Sure.
It probably make a ton of money.
Well, you say that, but Punch-Out's never really sold all that well.
That's true.
I bought
think
that
for the-
Thunder Ray game.
I have too. I did too.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is good. I like it.
Very, very Punch-Out like. Yeah, I like it.
I wonder, could you do look, I don't think Nintendo would, but if they wanted to, could you do Punch-Out but with real fighters? The fight game is all the thing right now. Could you have Punch-Out and it's got
yes,
Mike Tyson and
100%.
Jake
I
Paul
think-
and shit, and it's Little Mac, you fight.
Jake Paul's Punch-Out.
Yeah, it's Little Mac beats the shit out of Jake Paul. I think that would sell.
I would 100% do that.
I think people you climb the rank and you at the end you get to beat up Jake Paul. I think for that reason alone, 10 million people will
Yeah.
buy it.
You can make that and not charge that much for it. People go crazy for it.
100%. Yeah. I don't know if Nintendo would, but I think there's something to it.
Jake Paul's Punch-Out.
He's all about the fight game. That's the whole thing right now. You have Conor McGregor and stuff. I don't know all the.
I think kids put names like that kids would like. People would love it if Jake and Logan Paul were in it. They follow those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, rest in peace, Punch-Out.
Sucks.
It's a shame. Punch
Yeah.
Out on Wii was so damn good.
Great franchise.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that is maybe a market that an indie game could step in and make a really good game.
That's what Thunder Ray is.
Thunder Ray is literally Punch Out. A modern
It's just
version of
Punch Out. And it's pretty cool. Like I enjoyed like the effects and stuff. It's like it was funny when it came out. Delvin was all on this early, and he was like, "Hey, have you heard about this?" And I wishlisted it, and I followed it on release. When it released, the reviews were like middling. I was like, "Oh, never mind. I guess it's not that good." And then it was one of those games I picked up on the sale. Got it for like $3.50 or something, and
Yeah.
played it. I was like, "Yo, this is dope."
What's
Like
it
it's
called?
fun.
Punch Out. It's
Yeah.
literally just Punch Out.
Thunder.
But when you punch them, like their guts and shit explode like out of their head and
Yeah.
stuff. Like it's
Wait,
pretty
what? What is
crazy.
it? What is it? What is it called?
Thunder
Thunder
Ray.
Ray.
Thunder Ray. Huh.
Has an interesting story too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very cool art. I like
Yeah.
the art.
Good game. If you're looking to
Nice.
scratch that itch, I think that's our best option at the moment.
Wow, it really literally looks. It's $15 on Switch. Nice.
That's it. That's the news. Get these questions.
We have a lot of questions here. Okay, starting with Gamer Guy Lou. Let's say the Switch 2 doesn't release in 2025. Oh no! Gamer Guy
That'd
Lou,
be
don't
funny.
do that to us. I can't. I'm not strong enough. He says, "What's year 8 of Switch looking like if this is the case?
I prepped for
Any
this.
current Switch games in particular you'd like to play or replay if a new console doesn't make an appearance this year?" I don't think I can handle that.
I prepped for this. If you want me to read the games that have already been announced for Switch
Be
One.
my guess.
Do it.
This is Switch 1 in 2025. Highlights, of course. Donkey Kong, Metroid 4, Xenoblade X, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Civ 7, Pokemon Legends ZA, the Suikoden remasters, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Atelier Yumiya, Professor Layton's getting a new game, the Weird Pac-Man game, and Sonic Racing. I really want to put like Silk Song on here too. Like I know it's, but like I feel like Silk Song's probably coming up this year. So I think that's like Switch 1 highlights at the moment, and I'm sure Nintendo has a couple more things to throw in there.
You know, Civ 7 with that Switch 2 mouse probably gonna work really good.
Mhm.
I just
If
thought
it's a
about that.
mouse,
Yeah, if it's a mouse,
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be a pretty sad timeline.
Rebecca, you're not. I'm getting half of these games.
Yeah, but
Okay.
for the year, they would need other stuff.
Well, I mean, this is just what we know of today. You know, like
Yeah.
I would expect. I honestly, even with Switch 2, I suspect Nintendo still
We
has.
would get Wind Waker port. We would get.
What was there was a rumor right before we left, like that Nintendo's going to announce Kirby Planet Robobot for Switch.
yeah, I do.
That was going around for a bit. Like that totally makes sense. I don't know if it's true or not, but like I think Switch 1, regardless of Switch 2, I think Switch 1 gets a couple more games for sure.
If the Switch 2 doesn't release this year, I will literally play Mario Wonder.
I mean, I think you should.
You should play it anyway.
You should do that anyway because it's an amazing game.
You probably should play it on Switch too.
It's not worth $60 because it doesn't have rock formations in the background, but
There are a lot of people for some reason on TikTok who stream games on TikTok who play new Super Mario Bros. U,
yeah,
who are very into that and say, "I don't like Wonder. Wonder's crap. Wonder is a bad game. I like this."
it's good for. I
Good
like
for them.
both. I like both.
You can
I
like.
mean, I like Wonder a lot more than like just the game. Oh,
It's a
Wonder is
better
lot better.
game.
Wonder is,
Yeah.
It's okay. You can like both.
but yeah, I like both.
Yeah, no one's gonna come in your house and shoot you because you like both games. It's okay.
You have to pick one. You can't have both, Delvin. You have to pick a side. Choose.
Okay.
I think that's an easy
I
choice.
thought we were Mario fans. Damn, now we have sects
Um,
of Mario fan, like warring Mario
Yeah.
fan. My Mario's
Yeah.
better than your Mario game.
I
Jesus.
really, really hope that isn't. I mean, that can't be the case. I would
No,
cry. I would cry.
No, it's
I
I mean,
definitely
not with this. Not with this. You know, obviously it's in production.
I think on our end of the year show, we were asked to do predictions, and like at some point we were talking about the Switch. So I was thinking that they would wait to announce it until March, like the end of their fiscal year, and then start the lead up where it launches this summer, this fall. All of the rumors, all these leaks coming out continue. There's been multiple continued points. I don't know if they're maybe just regurgitating the same point. These leaks keep suggesting that's coming out in March,
Yeah.
which is
That's crazy.
crazy. Like, that blows your mind. It's like,
That would
we
be a
haven't
very
even announced
short
yet.
marketing for it.
Yeah. And I don't, it doesn't sound like anything we've ever done before. So it's like hard to believe. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think Nintendo needs a long marketing cycle to sell a Switch. We all know what Switch is. You know, it's 2025. Like, we don't need 8 months to market a console. They could be like, hey, we have a Switch 2. It's coming out. You want to buy it? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of that, you know, it's, there's not a whole lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So I could believe it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess March kind of makes sense if they're like, hey, this is just the Switch Pro, essentially.
We would
Kinda,
have to hear
yeah.
something really soon, like in the next week or two, I feel like. If we don't hear something the next week or two, I really don't think it's going to be March.
Yeah, I think you're right there for sure. There's a lot of, and all of those things pointing to March, there's a lot of people that think it's announcing in the next week or two. Like, that's all the rage right now on Reddit. People are picking dates and stuff. I have no idea where the evidence is for that, so I'm not like saying that, but that just seems to be like the common thought is that everybody says it's going to be then.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And as we talk about that, I need to let you guys know now that week of the 20th, so like the 19th, is that's a college football national championship game. Just know that I might be out of it for work. So if it does get announced during all of that, I may not be around, which makes me think that's when it'll happen. Like of course.
That's 100% going to happen.
They'll announce it tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. as the children are coming in through the snowstorm into the brand new school for the first time, and I'm helping crying kids who don't know where their classroom is.
Rebecca's
what's
like,
gonna
listen,
happen.
kid, I don't care. I have to watch this commercial.
Yes. Good job.
Drew asks us, do you think we'll see 8 years of the Switch 2 like we did with the Switch? There's no way we're talking about the Switch 3. I can't do this for 8 years, guys.
We are, yeah. Before we even get started,
Drew started it.
I don't know. So when that motherboard came out, I was like, I didn't write this down because I didn't want to go there, but it ties into my point now. When this motherboard came out, there were people arguing over like which nanometer size the chip is, and like whether it was good or bad. So there's like some people that are like the Switch 2 is underpowered and not good, and there are other people that are like it's going to be amazing. So like there's a tech person side of me that like I don't think we can go 8 years on like if it's I don't know like a PS4 like in your hands. I don't know if that can last for 8 years the way tech is going, especially with all the rage that portables are having. So like could it be? I think it could be like if they did a Switch 2 Pro, which I laugh about even saying, but like if they had iterations, I think it could last longer. And the reason I say that is you look at like what the PlayStation 5 is doing with the Pro and just general like hardware, like as you said earlier, Delvin, like all these gaming consoles are iterative. Like they're just kind of the same thing over and over again. And I think that alludes to like longer console generations.
Yeah.
You know, like if they're not changing the game and everything, like you don't need more of them if it's getting the job done. And I think we've seen that. Like there's still a lot of people that haven't upgraded to PS5 because they're fine playing games the way they are on their PS4.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's-
that's a long way of saying I don't know, but like I don't know how much demand there is for Switch 3, Switch 4, so like more devices sooner. I think there's more demand for more games longer generations, more games versus more devices, you know, I think is kind of
Look at the
market.
the PlayStation, you know, and up like people weren't really ready to upgrade to a Pro because we haven't had too much on, you know, game wise.
These
And I
games
feel
take
like
longer to make.
they take longer to make, and I also feel like it's, you know, we start asking for better hardware when the games are no longer like, you know, it's really pushing the limits of the current hardware. we don't really know what that'll be like.
Honestly speaking, when you look at games now, it's almost diminishing returns. Like, it looks better, but how much better can it really look?
Right.
It's like, okay, it looks. My PS4 games look pretty good too. So it's like, all right, okay, it look good. Doesn't run. I think we're getting to the point where now it's like, how does it run now,
Yeah.
as opposed to how does it look? Because we're almost at photorealistic anyway. So it's like, okay, it's cool. And plus, people are just satisfied with what they had before. That's why you're literally having to force people to move on to like the PS5 now. Like, all right, we're not releasing these games on PS4 anymore.
Also, like the world's biggest games aren't like those giant expensive titles. Like the world's biggest games are Fortnite and Marvel Rivals and stuff like that. You don't need, increasing iterative hardware to run those things. Like you have access to those things on the devices we already have. But with the games taking longer to make, it makes more sense that the generations get longer so you can have more of them. And it might make sense from a cost perspective to keep developing for one SKU longer than introducing more and more SKUs to development.
There's a whole generation of people out there right now who are going to buy a PS5 when they stop making Madden on PS4.
Yeah.
And that is just a fact. Like, this Madden's still running good.
And likewise, there's people that will buy a Switch 3 if there's a Pokemon game on it.
100%. So it's kind of hard to tell. We're like kind of in a weird place hardware wise, like with the market.
Why are they telling me to watch the Doja Cat VR concert?
I don't think you know why they're telling you.
Oh,
Doja Cat.
I'll go watch the Doja Cat VR concert then. Yes, I'm watching the Doja Cat VR concert then. Thank you.
Ryan asks us, will Nintendo bring back the Selects line for Switch 1 games on the Switch 2? No.
I think they will.
I think they won't. I think they will. They'll call it something else, and it'll be upgrades of the old games that look better, and they'll charge full price.
Man, that's wild.
Nintendo Switch Classics or Nintendo Switch Essentials.
Luigi Mansion 2 HD on Switch 2, $70. Like that's
No,
nasty work, Rebecca.
It'll be like Switch Essentials, Breath of the Wild in like
Sure.
4K.
Yeah. I think I could see this if because we're having Switch 2 is backwards compatible, they're going to keep this software line going. I think undoubtedly you start getting into year 9, 10, 11, 12 of these games. I think the Selects line makes sense. Mario Kart 8 becomes, $30, indefinitely.
I think 40.
Sure. I could see something like that. Yeah, I could see that.
Lewis asks, if the Switch 2 were to give older games performance upgrades, which games besides Pokemon Scarlet Violet would you pick to finally get the love they deserve but couldn't due to hardware limitations? I know you're going to say Age of Calamity.
Bayonetta.
Yep, all of those. Calamity, Bayonetta, Breath of the Wild. I do think, not that these games don't need it, but I think it's kind of a sell. If you just boost all of the Xenoblade games to 60 FPS, I think that's a sell for Xenoblade fans. I think they're like, shit, I need a new console. Yeah. So I think that's a good one. It's funny that I don't think Scarlet and Violet is fixed just by raw power. I think that's the game, man. I think it's the game. I don't think it's like we need more RAM to run these Pokemon models.
It could run perfectly and it would still be ugly.
Yeah, it's not the issue. I don't know if memory pipeline is holding back Scarlet and Violet.
No.
So, anything else? Those are the big ones.
Yeah, those are the ones that at least come to me. Those are the ones that I'd probably be most interested in replaying if they had performance boosts.
Yeah. Jason asks us, do you think Nintendo vouchers will continue on the next system as is, or will they be more expensive to potentially account for $70 games, or will they be discontinued?
That's a good question.
I think they'll stay.
I think
they'll be like $110.
I mean, I could see that. I could, but I just want to root for like the customer, which makes me think this isn't true. But it's a really good deal. $100, you get 2 games, and they're digital. So that's all money coming to Nintendo. So like I like the idea. It helps them push people digital. So I like the idea of it. Just leave it where it is. You can still raise the price. It just raises the value of the value. It makes people want to buy those vouchers more. So like just leave it alone. I don't think them losing 2 $70 titles to vouchers is hurting them a whole lot digitally. You know. So like I would vote for it to just stay as it is.
Of course you would, but that's not what Nintendo's thinking. It's still a deal on your part if they raise it to $110. You're still saving $30.
And it's just such a weird thing. It's like the vouchers are 110. Like 100 is such an even, like it's such a good, like 100, like make it 112. Like it's just like, what are we doing?
What's the point of raising the games to $70 if people are going to just buy vouchers?
If they were going to raise it, I think they'd raise it to 120.
Oh yeah, I think they would too.
You get 2 $70 games,
and you're still only saving $20.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
But the reaction to that would just be not like, people wouldn't be like super angry, but like it would just be negative. I think, like why even stoke the. I also wonder how many people do you think are using them? Do you think there's like a big market of people using vouchers?
I have started using vouchers, Japanese vouchers. I go on and I get a Japanese gift card for very cheap because the conversion is very good for us. And I've been purchasing the games on my Japanese account.
Wow.
And playing them a day early.
That is some next level saving stuff right there.
That's kind of smart, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the vouchers thing is probably like a 5% Switch user thing. Like you got to be probably pretty hardcore to be even worried about buying a voucher.
Casuals aren't doing it.
Yeah, so like it's like the gold coins things that you get when you buy games and stuff. It's like I just leave it alone.
Yeah,
it's
too
fine.
much of a hassle.
Yeah, kind of. It's like why even let somebody create negative press for you for this? Is the $10 really that important?
Yeah, over convoluted.
Well, if they discontinue it, there could be negative press, but most people will be like, vouchers? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, like
never used it anyway.
I could see that. I could see them like that was a Switch thing, and like we're just done with it. That I could see more than maybe.
I think that's most likely.
Probably, yeah. But I also think it's good for them to just. There's a benefit for them monetarily to just get people to convert to digital. It's like an incentive to get you to buy digital games.
Yeah.
So like I think that incentive is worth more than whatever money they would make off of a price increase.
Yeah. Ben asks us, Nintendo usually launches a console with a game that showcases the unique standout features and functions like Wii Sports, Nintendo Land, 1-2 Switch. If Switch 2 is similar to the original, do you think we'll get something similar to the above? How can they make it feel new and innovative again? Now that is, I think, the $1 million question.
It's got to be something with that optical port or that C button. What is that C button, by the way? Like that was all the.
Y'all are calling it a C button. I don't see how you're seeing a C. It looks like a half circle to me.
It's legit a C button. No,
it's
a C button. Yes. Like, do I need to go pull up a picture?
I'm going to pull up a picture.
It's a C button.
It is?
Yeah. It's hilarious because there's lots of talk about this thing. And I'm sure they're right. There were really good pictures of it. Now I got to go find it. Where the hell is it?
It looks like a half circle.
With the new Joy-Con leaks, there was really good pictures of it.
Oh, this one makes it look like a C, but I don't know if this is. I don't know. C.
Is this it?
C for
How could I not find a good picture?
Camera.
I've seen 100 of them. So camera is like a thing that's going around, although none of.
But why wouldn't they do like just a little camera instead of a C? Yeah.
Yeah.
but people suggested like it could attach to it. I've heard camera, I've heard chat, I've heard cast, I've heard. But the funniest thing about all of this is that like what I'm rooting for is I'm rooting for it just to be the C button. Like there's just like we need an extra button, and like everybody is like it's a chat button, it's a connection button, it's a social thing, it's a cast button, it's going to stream, it's a capture button, and it's like no, we just wanted to bring the C button back. Like we've had C buttons before. Like I wonder, like, did you see a Wii remote and you're like, what's the C button for? It's like we like, what's the A button mean? Does it mean like what does the B button mean? What is,
A means attach.
yeah, does the X button mean X-ray? Like it's crazy that we saw a C button and we all went, what does it mean?
C.
I think
That
it's the
is
placement.
true because
It's the placement of it. It's off to the side by the home thing. Like I do think that's probably right. I do think it probably has a name due to the placement, but I just laugh. I laughed when I saw it because I was like, we never think about what does the ZR mean? Somebody give me an abbreviation for the ZR button. What is Z right?
Like it.
Yeah, the N64 is C has the N64 is C buttons. And the Wii had a C button too. So it's not the first time we've had a C button, but it was very funny. If I had to guess, I don't know.
I hope it's cast. I hope it's cast to like the TV.
Cast a screen or something.
Yeah.
I've heard it like the idea that it means connect somehow, like with either some sort of social thing or like maybe it's like a quick connect, like you could connect multiple switches together or something. Like there's maybe something there. I've heard like people trying to think of like Miiverse maybe trying to make a comeback or something.
I feel like it has to be something where it makes more sense for it to be a quick button rather than going into the menu and doing it.
So
because you could do any of those things in a menu.
You know have what the home button, right, that takes you home. And then you can press and hold it and it pulls up like a little shortcut menu.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if the C button, like on like the Steam Deck or like an Xbox, they have the Steam button and the Xbox button. They're like a home button and it can bring up like an overlay. And I was thinking, could it be something like that where you press the button and it brings up an overlay and maybe you could like click on a boost mode or like capture a screenshot or send something to your phone or that's kind of where my head was thinking. Like, and maybe they call it something, maybe it's like command center or, you know, connection online or something, you know, but like, that's kind of where my head is with it.
Yeah.
Calibrate. I've heard that's a common thread. People wonder if it has like some sort of calibrate with your gyro or something.
Yeah. Something where it makes more sense that you're pressing it enough, you know, that it makes more sense to be a button than a home menu option.
Yeah. But I do want them to be like, we just needed an extra button. So we called it the C button.
So that's not software though. So to answer Ben's question, do you think we're going to get a game or a piece of software that highlights this feature or the laser thing?
The mouse, Mario Paint.
Yes.
Mario Paint
is
2.
back.
Oh my God. I played that for the first time in 2024 and it was horrible. It did not live up.
They put a whole optical mouse in the Joy-Con just so you could put Mario Paint in Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
Is it crazy that you like I say that as a joke, but you're like, I can see them doing it. Like it's not that far fetched.
Ben, I think they will, and I think it'll be a better game than 1-2 Switch.
Nah.
I think it'll be something that we all want to buy.
Legs.
Legs.
It's time, baby.
Captain Awesome says, I have been very loud when saying I want Persona 3 Reload and Metaphor to come to Switch 2. What are some of your wish lists? Huh?
I said, why are you being so loud? You gotta be loud. Just say it.
Oh, he's been very vocal. What are some of your wish lists of third-party ports for the Switch 2 Force release? For example, Skyrim was the big one on the original Switch.
I have notes.
Tell us.
All right. A bunch, actually. So wish list stuff is I have thinking like Far Cry, Warhammer, GTA 5, Madden, college football. Switch doesn't have like a big racing game. Forza, you know, like fucking Xbox is doing all kind of like, is that a crazy thing to think? If not Forza, like F1, like could, you know, Codemasters get in on Switch 2 with like an F1 game or something? Hellblade 2.
Good.
Hellblade 1 is on Switch. Hellblade 2 coming would be awesome. To go back, like, could we get those Lord of the Rings games on Switch? Shadow of Mordor and stuff? Be kind of awesome.
That would be awesome.
Obviously, I want those Wind Waker. I want the Zelda ports. And then a big one for me would be Dying Light the Beast. It's one of my most anticipated games upcoming. Dying Light is on Switch. I think it'd be, and it's native. It's not like a cloud version or something. Like, I'd be jazzed to see Dying Light announced for Switch too. So those are my wish list. We also have, I think the next one is, no, hang on. I thought we had another question about ports.
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. I've got more, but I'll save them for future questions.
Okay. Anything for you, Devin?
Assassin's Creed Shadow. That'll be dope
Nice.
on Switch too.
I think that'll come.
I think Persona Reloaded would be great on there too. I think Star Wars Outlaws would be really cool to have on Switch too, to carry with you. Let's see, think some other ones off the top of my head would be really good that they could put on there. Madden, finally. Madden. A good Madden game on Switch too.
It'd be nice.
I want Red Dead Redemption 2 because they put the first one on Switch.
I think that's likely at some point.
That makes a lot of sense.
I would get that. Kyle the podcast, what's one new thing you want added to the Switch 2 that Nintendo Switch currently doesn't have?
I want
First of all,
swappable.
Street Pass.
I want
First of all,
swappable storage.
Fuck you, Kyle the Pug.
There it is.
We're not letting that slide. No. not. We're not starting 2025 off like that.
Swappable storage.
That is a good
Swappable
one.
storage.
What do you mean?
I want to be able to put games on SD cards and be able to change SD cards without having to reformat and reinitialize the damn SD card all the time. Like
You can't do that?
no.
No.
You can only have one card like registered to your Switch. If you put in another one, you have to reformat. it.
Oh,
Yes.
that's stupid.
I also think it'd be cool if you could like connect like a hard drive to the dock and store games on the hard drive. You could
I was
play
gonna
on the
say that
dock,
one.
like expanded storage.
Yeah.
I just recently, because I've been mainlining my Zelda Switch Lite, I have a bigger SD card in my Switch OLED. I have a 1 terabyte in the OLED and I have a 512 in the Lite. And I was like, I want to swap these because I'm playing more on the Lite. So I want to bring this over. I had to re-download 500 gigabytes of Switch games and it took forever. Like it took forever. I was like, why is this taking so long?
Yeah, that's stupid. And imagine if
Um,
you have really bad internet, it would take even longer.
Yeah, I was like, why can't I just pop one out and into the other and just
That
move
makes
on?
sense. Yeah,
I know
that would-
why. I know why. It's to combat piracy and stuff, but like
Oh.
I want them to figure out a different way. Like I want to be able to do this. You can do that in a Steam Deck. I can have like you do it in a ROG Ally. I can have games on all kinds of cards and just pop
Well,
them in and out.
it would still have to do a check to make sure that you own the game, right?
Of course. Yeah. Yep. I want them to figure it out. I want hot swappable media.
I agree. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Wow. Now that's my my answer now. I said Street Pass or themes.
Street Pass is a good one. I'd love to see Street Pass back.
I'm still on that I'm still that person who in 2017 was saying I want themes. I still want themes almost
Basic
10 years
white.
later.
Basic Black.
Basic black. I'm basic white.
Basic White.
I'm basic white.
Does anybody use the Basic White theme?
No.
Like no, nobody does. Have you ever turned it on?
No.
It's
I
just
mean,
blinding.
launch day I did, and then the first thing I did
blinding.
was change it to black and never looked back.
You do that, you just once you go black.
Yeah. Once you go black, you never go back.
That's gonna be when we turn on the Switch 2. It's gonna blind us with the
It's with the
basic
white screen. Be like, oh God, turn it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all gonna have that moment.
Ah,
Anything you want to say, Delvin?
So much stuff they can do. I would like customizable Joy-Cons. Like completely, like I can change the buttons. I can add different skins on it and stuff like that. Like, let me have fun with these things.
oh,
I wish they would have that like kind of online
ain't happening.
studio,
That ain't happening.
like you can, like Colorware does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo should do what Colorware does.
Xbox has that, like the design lab.
Yes.
That would be cool.
Nintendo Design Lab. They're not
Yep.
doing it, but I would.
Not even a little bit. No.
Not even an incy bit.
Did you see the new Joy-Con leaks today, Delvin?
I did.
Because it's a gray Joy-Con, but the rails are like neon blue or orange. Like that's interesting.
That is very interesting.
Because like, why would you do that in a different color? You're gonna snap them in. It's gonna disappear.
That's a good point.
Bizarre.
There are people, I guess, that play with loose Joy-Cons, like the freaks they are.
Weird.
Yeah. That snap-in mechanism keeps having my brain go to like, what can you snap that Joy-Con into? Like, could they have like a little controller with like shoulder buttons and you snap it into that and you hold it?
Probably.
You know, like we have like the little rail, but like I'm wondering, like, can they do that sort of thing bigger? And you have like these different accessories that you snap it into and it becomes like a mini controller or something. Like, it's kind of where my head is.
As opposed to the rail,
As opposed to the rail, like, could the
that everybody
rail
threw away.
idea be a lot better with this click-in mechanic? Could you click into multiple different peripherals? Because Nintendo loves selling its fucking plastic. And my head is like, are we
And
about to get
cardboard.
a Switch 2 trailer where they're like, and you can get this accessory and this accessory and
Yes.
this right? Yeah, it's like
Yes. And you're going to have a whole list of things that you need to buy on March 31st.
Yes.
that's exactly. And you start seeing things like this mouse idea, and so I'm like, uh-oh.
And
There's
you got to
something-
pick up the
There's
laser
something
gun
swirling
and,
around
and
here.
the,
Yeah.
and the laser mouse and
It's
the
a golf
laser
club.
wheel and the laser golf club.
Hey, one of the things I'd be very excited about if they were like, listen, we know the motion controls on Switch 1 weren't as good. We fixed it. It's excellent. It's like VR levels of motion controls now. Beat Saber on Switch 2, right? That would be fucking awesome. Right? Like that'd be really cool. So like if they're doing something like that with the Joy-Con, I am here for it.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I'm getting
That'd be cool.
excited. Karaku Kyle says, with the Switch 2 rumored to be announced relatively soon, what are your dream Switch 2 launch games? And what do you think are realistic launch day games?
So this is where my notes come in. I have realistic games that I think could come to Switch 2.
3D Mario.
Okay. I was
is
thinking just
realistic.
ports for the moment. I just want to talk about ports.
They got to have something really good on launch day to get people to make the jump.
So let's talk about first party then. We'll start there. Do you go Kart first or Mario first?
Mario.
I kind of think Kart.
Cart.
That's on my dream launch game, not realistic.
Because, hang on. I guess we should start here. Is Metroid Prime 4 a launch day game for Switch 2? Like it's a
No.
cross-gen game?
No.
I think it is.
That's
So you
not a
think it-
launch day game.
You think it comes to Switch 1 first and then Switch 2 is just backwards compatible?
I think it could still come to both at a later date.
I think fall. That's your fall game.
Really?
I agree. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
September,
my head isn't
October.
there at all. I think Metroid Prime is like a single player launch day game for Switch 2.
There's not enough people buying that on launch day.
I think that's why you do it. You put it there as a launch day game and more people will buy it because it's the new game.
That's
Nope.
actually a good idea.
And I think it's a compliment to something like a service game like a Kart. You do like a Kart and a Metroid and like a spin-off. And then you bring the Mario and the
I think-
Pokemon in the fall.
I think that's a big risk to take.
GTA.
Because you're assuming people are going to buy the new hardware anyway, and also just pick up Metroid while you're there.
I think there's a lot of people that are going to buy at least initially, not 150 million of them, but 10 million people are going to buy the Switch with no games. Like they could just be like, this is Switch 2 and it's going to play your same game. And they'd still sell 10 million of those.
I don't think all 10 million would pick up Metroid Prime 4, but I think all the 10 million
No.
would buy Mario Kart or 3D Mario.
Well, I'm saying both. I'm thinking Metroid Prime and Kart.
They're not going to pick up Metroid Prime.
Okay.
If that happens.
So I was thinking if this thing is launching before the fall, if Switch 2 is like March, May, June, whatever, I would say you start with Kart. It's like the Mario game to start with. It's also the game that's going to sell the longest, right? So you start with it. And then in the fall, when we think we have something like GTA 6 coming, that's when you hit with Pokemon or your next Mario game. Because I think those things can stand. Like Pokemon can stand. You could launch it the same week as GTA 6 and like
agree.
nobody would care. Like, so like I would save that then. Whereas I think something like a cart in the fall could actually get overshadowed a bit.
Yeah.
I think that when it comes in, I think Switch fans are just Switch fans. They
Same.
don't care. Like, there's
Yeah.
certain games that GTA isn't going to have an effect on it. They're still going to sell a bunch of Pokemon games. Think Cart's going to sell a bunch of Cart games
Mhm.
because they're still hyped for Switch 2. Especially if GTA 6 isn't coming out on Switch 2. They're like, we don't give a fuck about this. GTA 6.
And I honestly, Pokemon is the game that immediately comes to mind. Like that's your November game.
Yes.
You don't really care where GTA is because Pokemon fans don't give a fuck.
And if you make it exclusive to the Switch 2, you're gonna push a lot of units.
So a lot of people are thinking it's a launch game, and I would push against that. I think Pokemon in the fall.
Pokemon doesn't really do that.
So one of the things I said, and I didn't say this is because I believe it. I just think it could happen. On our end of the year Xmas show that you missed, Rebecca, we do like a prediction every year. And then at the following year, I read back to everybody what we thought. One of the things I threw out there, because I just think the timing is there. Everybody's like, the Switch is going to launch with a new 3D Mario game. And that's probably likely. But I was thinking, what if it launched with Luigi's Mansion 4? And then the Mario game is on the roadmap. It comes a little later.
That's crazy.
I could see it. I don't think anybody wants it, but I could see it. It's not impossible.
That would be crazy. I could see it.
Yeah. Like, what if it's like Kart and Luigi's Mansion 4? And then like the big 3D Mario game is like in September.
What if it just launches with Breath of the Wild remastered?
I hope it is. Like it's all I really want. We're talking about all these games. Like that's the game I'm gonna buy.
My dream launch game that won't happen, but if I could pick any game, it would be a brand new Animal Crossing.
So do you think it's a launch year game? I think that's a year 2 game.
Yeah.
I think you get it established, you get it out there, you get it going, you get it sells, and then you come back in 2026 with, oh yeah, Animal Crossing is coming this summer. Everybody get fucking hyped. I think Fire Emblem in the launch window. That's like that game that's going to come out a couple of months after launch. Fire Emblem. I think we're going to set up where it's going to be like Switch 2 and like whatever you pick a month, whatever it's going to launch. I think they're going to set us up with month 1 game, month 2 game, month 3 game. I think they're going to hit us like over the head with games. I think we're potentially going to get 6 or 7 like big first party releases in the first 6 or 8 months.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's safe.
For ports, Dev and I kind of talked about this on PSVG. So when I saw this question come in, I just started making a list because there's a lot of talk about ports and third party and a lot of third party support coming to Switch, which I agree with. So I wrote down, because the things that I immediately go to when I think of like ports that could come to Switch to get people excited, I think of games that are known to like scale very well. Games that like scale on low end PCs, they go to like mobile maybe. Steam Deck runs them very well. So I wrote down a list of these games. So I think of like Control. Like Control runs across a bunch of stuff. Cyberpunk, Dead Island 2, Assassin's Creed, like Mirage is on phones. I think they're going to bring Shadow to phone. I think all of that comes to Switch. World of Warcraft, they just had like their little mobile release. I could see something like that. Tomb Raiders, like Switch still doesn't have any of like the reboot Tomb Raiders.
Yeah.
Right. Like I could see all of those. Diablo, of course, Yakuza, Dragon Age, right? Just released a game. Like, could there be a Switch port of that? I could see that. I think one that I'm almost 100% certain is going to happen. It could be a day 1 game. Death Stranding.
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Metal Gear Solid, right? There's those trilogies, the Mass Effect trilogy. And then I give Dev credit for this one. Dev said Indiana Jones.
Makes sense.
I haven't played it. It's being ported to PlayStation. Like it's not like a system exclusive. Xbox is bringing it to other platforms.
Then I think it would.
Yeah. I think all of the cloud games that they have will get native ports. So like all the Resident Evil games. I think a lot of Japanese third-party support. So I'm looking at Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter shows up.
Kingdom Hearts.
we never got Devil May Cry 5, I think, on Switch, right? Just the old ones. So Devil May Cry 5 comes to mind.
Oh yeah,
Monster
don't they
Hunter
have
World.
to? They have to start getting the Call of Duty games on Nintendo as per that deal, right?
Yes.
Yes.
My only question is storage. You
They're
can't
big
have
games.
150 gigabytes of Call of Duty on a Switch.
I agree.
So, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to break
The
it down?
whole console,
Cloud.
just one game.
I was
Cloud.
thinking, I think they start with Warzone, and you just get Warzone on it at first. And then maybe they bring like some older ports. Like maybe they port over some of the older Call of Duties in. I can see that.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush.
That'd be
Yeah.
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a studio for that now?
They've reestablished Tango as a.
Oh yeah.
The people that own what is that other service game? Before we had Fortnite, we had what was that game called?
We talked
PUBG.
about it.
PUBG, the frying pan game. I think it's they own it now. Crafton, Overwatch, Marvel's Rivals. Right, we don't have any of those things. And then I wrote down, that's my last one, because we had like the Skyrim things. You're always wondering like what could the Skyrim be? Just go back to Bethesda, because Bethesda, like they did this before. They said,
Fallout.
Could it be Fallout? Makes sense.
Fallout. I think
Fallout,
that's a
Dishonored.
really good. Yeah. Because we know that they already have a relationship. So
And the TV show is big.
that could be the next big one.
Doom, the Dark Ages. Could that be announced or Switch too? I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah, that existed.
I definitely think that's gonna be on there.
That's gonna be one of my
When
most
does that
exciting
come out?
games this year.
No, I know, but when this year?
Oh, I don't think we've got a date yet.
Okay.
I think there's rumors of there's rumors of an Xbox show this month, and here's another one. A part of those rumors, there's rumors that there's an Oblivion remaster being announced. And if that's the case, I could definitely see that coming to Switch too.
Is
That would be
Doom
awesome.
definitely coming out this year, or is there a chance it could be pushed?
There's
With
always a
Xbox,
chance.
I think there's always a chance anything can be pushed, but I think that one's pretty solidly this year.
We have our fantasy critic draft tonight. Yeah, John 32 knows exactly why I'm asking.
Yeah, I do.
Because I don't know anything about Doom.
Well, you should do that one because the Dark Ages looked amazing.
I know, but none of it's gonna be next year.
It's gonna be
Moving
this-
on.
It's gonna be this year.
Moving on. MC. Who's that?
Mariah
once-
Carey.
Mariah Carey. Well, MC wants to know. Welcome back, Shaq. What are your predictions for 3 Nintendo Switch 2 games that will be available as launch titles? Doesn't have to be an exclusive. So if we have to nail down 3.
Mario Kart 9.
Okay.
That's one.
As launch. You're saying as launch.
As launch, yes.
Okay.
Madden 2020, I guess 5.
Sure.
Because it's not. If it comes out in March, I don't think they're gonna do 2026 yet. So obviously it's 2025. And let me get one more launch game. This is
I have mine.
I'm gonna go. This is difficult. I'm trying to think of what would be launched. Breath of the Wild remastered.
3D Mario. I'm doing that instead of Kart. Nintendo Switch 2 tech demo-y game.
Party game.
Does that count? Like a 1-2 Switch Nintendo
Snipper
Land Wii
Clips.
Sports kind of vibe. I was gonna say Snipper Clips 2! You stole it out of my mouth, Delvin! I was gonna say Snipper Clips 2!
Damn it, Delvin.
You literally just stole my thunder. Snipper Clips 2. I would buy it.
I'm gonna go Kart, Metroid Prime,
Damn.
and I want to say like new IP, but it could be an IP, a new take on Star Fox.
I would love
We
that.
have such different ideas of what launch day is going to be like, me and you.
It could just be like new IP, like ARMS, like just a new IP game. I think that's the time to launch one.
Okay. Sure. Jay Allen says, regardless of the year the game was released, nor its system it's for, what is the best game you played in 2024?
Half-Life 2.
That's a good one.
I blew my mind. I just played it over the break for the first time.
Regardless of really, hold on, let me go to my backlog.
Star Wars Outlaws. I enjoyed that game a lot. Way more than I should have.
Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
Objection! Like it.
That's my favorite one I played all year. That did not release. Andy P says, do you think Nintendo will bring back Mario 35 as Mario 40 for this year's 40th anniversary? I was always wishing they would integrate some of the other art styles and power-ups from the other side-scrolling Mario games into it, so you could have more power-up options and enemy variety. Okay, I misunderstood this question until the second half. I thought he was talking about just like the Mario 35 general celebration.
Bring it back as Mario 40, the game. Right?
Yeah. Like the like the Tetris 99 type of game, right?
Correct. That's
like
correct.
the battle royale. So you add 5 more slots to it, and
that'd be cool.
Yeah. And I think they could add other levels. I don't think they will. I think they're done with it, or at least I think they should at least put it back on, the eShop and let people buy it, let it stay there. Like even if you don't make any changes to it, bring it back. Like I don't see any reason why you had to take it offline.
Yeah, just bring it back and let it sit there. It's back forever now.
Yeah,
have fun.
Even if it stays as Mario 35,
yeah.
I don't even care if they make any changes. Donnie, we were just talking about bringing back Mario 35 for the 40th anniversary. Andy P wants to know if they would change it, integrate some of the other art styles and power-ups. I was saying they should just bring it back and just keep it online. Like, why would you even take it offline to begin with?
Yeah, that was such a strange occurrence. I don't know. I can't even speak to it. I don't know why they took it away. Like I'm honestly like, why would they bring it back? Like I don't know. Maybe come back in some sort of servicey something. I keep thinking to myself, like, how do they improve Nintendo Switch Online for Switch 2? And like maybe they have like some sort of games add-on like that they bring in like in a bigger way, like in a more major way. Maybe they're taking that idea, that concept, and actually turning into a full-blown game that like you can buy.
That would be cool. I hope so.
Cool.
Yeah.
I could see something like that, like maybe like a, I don't know, like kind of like a multiplayer servicey NES remix 40, whatever. Like I could see something like that.
Doing something with it. Like I just feel like it's so silly to not do anything with it. People enjoyed it. It was fun. It was great. You didn't take down Tetris.
Yeah, what if they had like a new Super Nintendo, NES remix type of thing where they have a bunch of games and a bunch of modes and stuff, and then they add this on as like a multiplayer, and they kind of
that would be
piece
cool.
it all together.
That'd be really cool.
That would be good. I would be for that. Yeah, I think they should do something. I don't know if they'll even acknowledge the 40th anniversary. I think the only reason why they acknowledged the 35th was like to throw together something.
Yeah,
they needed to fill out the year. Yeah, especially COVID. Our final question comes from Robbie saying, glad you're back. How was your Christmas? How do you think NSO might evolve as we head into the next generation? Another $1 million question.
Josh says they can apply the 35 concept to Mario Maker. I can see
that would be cool. Mario Maker 3.
Cool.
I've been thinking about this NSO thing like all week. I think there's a little buzz around this, I guess I've got like questions that I would ask the panel. First question is, are they done remastering GameCube games?
No.
Because if they're not, a lot of people just suspect that GameCube will come to Switch.
I don't think it will.
And if they're not done with it, I don't think I think there's games on GameCube that they're not going to remaster that they could bring to a Switch Online. But Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that until they're done remastering Switch games.
Yeah. I don't think
We have
there's not enough for them to do. I think to make like a worthy library that
Oh, I disagree. I think there's a lot of
really.
GameCube
Oh, yeah.
games. Yeah, you get the Star Fox games and like Wario World and like Wave
Yeah.
Racer and like there's,
Yeah.
but like here's my question: we've gotten so many remakes and remasters. Like, what GameCube games are you waiting on?
Eternal Darkness.
Well, besides the ones that we don't think are going to
Metroid Prime 2.
So, but those have been remastered or re-released. We have the Metroid Primes, we have the Zeldas, we have Sunshine, we have Thousand Year Door. Like we have so many.
Wait. Slow down a second. We don't have the Zeldas. We don't have Metroid Prime 2.
We don't have them on Switch. I'm just saying that they've been done. Like it's happened. Is all.
Objection. Doesn't count.
Fair.
Irrelevant. Irrelevant.
Fair. So, but there are other games, like I said, like Star Fox Adventures. Like, are they going to remaster that? I don't think so.
No.
Or like
No.
Wario World. Like, I love that. And they're going to remaster that? No.
No.
So, like, I think they can have an NSO
Stick
GameCube
it.
collection,
Of like ones that they were just never going to remaster.
but I just don't think they're going to until they're done remastering games. If I was to look at like NSO,
Yeah,
for,
because
like,
then we'll be like,
catalogs-
oh, bring us Wind Waker on NSO. And
Right.
they're not going to put it on because they're planning on selling it to us for $70.
that's where my head is. So I'm thinking for NSO, I'm thinking things like DS.
Yes.
I'm thinking
Especially
like,
with that cast button.
could they do like a Dreamcast? Could they get with Sega and like
they
get
could.
some
I would love that.
Sega stuff going?
Absolutely.
That's kind of where my head is on the NSO thing. The other thing is, all right, I got a pitch. I've done this pitch before where I've talked to you about how Nintendo needs to have like NSO on mobile and stuff. Here's a different pitch. Same idea. This is based off of Nintendo Music. So Nintendo launches this whole app that you need the subscription for. Nintendo Music, it's on your phone. What if Nintendo does something similar with like mobile games that you need a Nintendo Switch Online subscription for, but that they put like all of their mobile games in like a app, and then they can bring in like other mobile games, kind of like what Netflix is doing. And you subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online and you can play games on your phone. And maybe it's like some indie games that's available on Switch and your phone, and like some
That is
Nintendo mobile
Wishful
games.
thinking, Donnie.
But it's like, that's not that far fetched. Because it's got like Fire Emblem Heroes and Pocket Camp and Mario Run, or like you kind of throw some stuff together, and maybe your Nintendo Switch Online subscription gets you like, I don't know, some bucks or bells or whatever, some orbs, every month.
Yeah.
kind
Nintendo
of like
does things like that,
It's like a low effort, but we still want to connect with you sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there will be something like that. They're always doing crazy things like that like nobody really thinks of.
It kind of came out of all these rumors, like with this button being like some sort of like connect like
button.
social thing. I'm wondering, it's like your NSO app on your phone acts the same way as it is like on your Switch, and like maybe the games are different, but like you're still connected. You're still doing something like that.
Yeah.
Cauliflower button.
Cauliflower button. Cheese.
Call it
How's it cheese?
I like it. Every
Press
time
C
you
for
press
cheese.
it,
You get cheese.
Somebody brings you some cheese and puts it in your
You
mouth.
get melted cheese. It's like
I'm sold.
cheese button.
Sold.
Greatest console that ever existed.
100%. 1000%.
Yeah, I think we're way more likely to see something like DS and Sega consoles than GameCube. I don't see it.
What consoles are we missing on NSO?
DS.
And like, I don't even want DS stuff, but like they did it on Wii U, so I just assume it's like sitting there whenever they want to use it.
Turbo graphics.
Yeah, I'm not interested in any of that stuff. Like, they can keep.
I know,
all
but
of
I'm
it.
just telling you, they did it
Yeah, you're
on,
right.
they did it on Wii
You're right.
U.
Yeah.
Atari.
Oh, good
Sorry.
God. Good God.
Blips and bloops.
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy. So that's a good one.
Oh, that's gonna hurt your eyes. That's not a good idea.
We got the advanced motion tracking of the new Joy-Cons for your Virtual Boy tennis experience. with Labo.
What a piece of shit console that was.
Labo Virtual Console.
I had that, by the
Labo
way.
Virtual Boy. You have a Virtual Boy?
I had one. Yeah, I bought it I found it in a flea market for like $20.
Oh, nice. Did you
That
keep
was
it?
years ago. Oh, I wish I still had it, but that was
Yeah, that'd been good just as a display piece.
Yeah.
what a terrible console that was.
I've never seen one.
I played it
bad.
for like
It's
30
bad.
minutes and thought I was going blind.
Yeah, it's bad. you need Tylenol when you play it
Yeah,
because you get a headache.
Wow.
that's bad.
Crazy.
Because it's all like just red in your
It's just
vision.
red, like you're looking in the red,
Red
sun of
lasers
Krypton.
just shining in your eyes. Just
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think that was a good idea.
Well, it was the first step into 3D virtual, like
Well,
virtual
step in the
reality.
lawsuits.
They should have stepped the fuck away from that. Shit was terrible.
All right, I gotta go. I got a friend from college coming over today that I haven't seen in a while. I gotta go clean up. But I'm feeling very hopeful for 2025.
Yeah. Hope springs
I've
eternal.
been feeling good. Feeling good about work, which I couldn't say a couple weeks ago, and I'm feeling good about Nintendo.
It's great. We'll
So,
see.
yeah. Maybe we'll have the Switch 2 to talk about next week, guys.
Probably
It'd be great.
It's going to be a big moment for me because this whole podcast for the past 6 years has been talking about it.
Switch Pro, baby.
Switch Pro.
Could still happen.
If it happened, we should bring in Garrett.
Yes.
Just-
So he can shit on it, like
Yeah,
tell us
exactly.
why we should get Steam Decks instead.
yeah.
No
we should-
thanks.
so we can have a classic episode.
I
was
love
like
my
hanging-
Steam Deck.
I was hanging out with Sean just on a stream. It was Sean's stream. I just joined. I saw them online and I was like, hey, what's up? And I'm just talking. And Sean asked me something about his Ally. And I was like, yeah, that game isn't supported on Steam Deck. And out of nowhere, Garrett's in the chat. There's lots of games that aren't supported. Like literally out of nowhere. Like, I'm like, is he just always waiting for somebody to say something bad about the Steam Deck so he can
Wow.
defend it?
Wow.
It's like the bat. He's like the bat signal for Steam Deck criticism. Just he was just there, like
He was there.
instantly. He was just there.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
So
All right.
I appreciate that this switcheroo thing has caught on.
Switcheroo. Oh my
Good
God.
old
Time to
switcheroo.
go. See you guys next week. Happy 2025. We will be back next week, I'm sure, with more rumors, if not official news.
whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?